Hey everyone, today I wanted to show you a cool new feature that we've just launched that lets you do A/B testing and create variations for your lightboxes really easily. So there's a couple parts to this. First I'm going to start out with variations for your lightboxes. So we're in one of my test accounts right now, and what you'll see is I have 5 lightboxes here. So we're going to do this Farfaria newsletter V1. And what you'll see here is you'll see a new column here called variations. And what you have to do is basically go to the lightbox that you want to add a variation to and just simply click add. So when you click add, which I'm going to do right now, you have a few options here. One option is new variation from the original. So we'll just start out from that. So new variation from the original is exactly that. It's just adding a variation from the original lightbox. So I'm just going to click new variation from the original. And what you'll see here is if I preview this lightbox, so I'll preview this one right here. And there's the lightbox, the original lightbox that you can see. And then if I go back into the variations, see how it says, instead of says add, it says edit 1. Let's go into that. Let's go into the editor for variation 1. And you'll notice that variation 1 is exactly the same lightbox. So this is where, now that this is variation 1, this is where you can go in and make changes. And this is really important because what's really cool about this is all of your lightboxes that you're A/B testing, or all the variations that you have of a lightbox, they're all going to have the same conditions set up with them. So all of the rules will be applied to either one variation or all of them, or one or two if you're doing an A/B test, but I'll go into that more later. For now, let's say we're in variation 1. We say, okay, this is the original, but let's say we want to make some changes here. So I say, okay, maybe I want to change the picture here. So let's see, let's just put another picture in there. Okay, make it a little bit bigger. We'll keep the background, and we'll say download Farfaria. Download a free trial of Farfaria today. That's obviously too big, so I'll make it a little bit smaller. Okay, this looks good. And then maybe let's just take this receive occasional relevant email communications. Let's just take that out. So I'm going to take that out, not required anymore. And we'll make the download button bigger. Instead of saying download, we'll put sign me up. And I'll also make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is a variation. I'll save and publish this. And so this variation now is going to it's going to be within the variation. So I'm going to go back to lightboxes, and here I see variations. So I can go into the variations, and here's the variation 1, and it's within here. Now I have a few options here. One is just to, I can preview it so you can see it right here. So that's the variation we just created with the big sign me up. So one thing I can do here is I can rename this, and let me close this out real quickly. So okay, it says variation 1, so one of the options is just renaming it. So I'm going to rename this variation 1 dash sign me up dash free, and I'll just put var1 just to keep it short. Okay, so in here, if I go to the variations again, there you go, variation 1, sign me up free. So that's a good way for me to kind of know exactly what I did just by, without even doing a preview, what type of lightbox is within that variation. So the other thing I can do here is I can duplicate this, and I can start creating a variation from variation 1, or I can duplicate the original again. So I can really do you know, from the original, or I can duplicate it from here. And I can delete it, of course, if I want to. Now this primary, this is something that it's pretty important. What that means is if you have this lightbox on right now, so I'm going to quickly just close this out. If you have this lightbox, so this is off. So let me just turn all these other ones off. 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 I'll turn this one on. So it's live right now. So if I have this live right now, what's going to show by default is this original version, right? But after you do some testing on your own or through our A/B test, you might find that one of the variations is the one that you actually want to be using, because that's the one that's giving you the better results. So all you do is you just go in your variations, and you would go to this primary, and see how it says off. You just select that on, and then that'll be the primary light box. And this preload and cache, don't worry about that right now. So if I do select primary on this one, you'll see that it'll go to live. So see, this turns yellow here in the variations, which means that one of the variations is running. And if I go in here, it's going to basically, this primary is on live. It should say live actually. Hold on one second. Let me close this out and let me publish it. Publish. Okay. So there you go. Once I publish it, it says live. So this is a variation that's running right now. The other things you can do is you could just do new variation from a theme, and all that would do is it's just like if you're creating a new lightbox, you have themes here you can choose from. Choose a theme, and that could be one of your variations. So I'm just going to choose a theme at random and just put var2 simple newsletter theme. Save that. And so now I have two variations here. And then the last thing you can do on here, this is really important, because especially if you've used our older version of A/B testing or multivariate testing, is you might have several versions of the same lightbox that you've already created, even if you didn't do A/B testing in the past, just to test on your own, right? So at this time you want to kind of just organize your account and put all lightboxes with the same rules and the same basic performance goals into a variation. So what you can do here is I could say, okay, well, if you look at my account here, you'll notice that I have this Farfaria newsletter v2, right? And if I preview this, this is just a variation that I had created in the past. So you'll notice it looks a little bit different. It's a white background. It's got a different image. It's got a little bit different text, but it's more or less the exact same. It's got the same rules, and it's basically, in the past I was testing this Farfaria newsletter variation 1 against Farfaria newsletter variation 2. So what I can do now is I can say, well, what I'd rather do is just put this all in this one Farfaria newsletter organizational box, which is with all of the variations in it. So what I'll do is I'll say new variation from another lightbox. So I click on that, and I go here to select a lightbox. I'll select Farfaria newsletter version 2, submit, and it'll basically automatically put that in here as a variation. And after that you can delete this. So this is no longer needed. Delete that, go to the variations, and then it will default the name to just the next variation in line, so I can rename this. So I could say, I'll say var3 white background new, or let's say cat image free. Okay. So now I have all these variations that are properly named, and I can, if I don't want this one, if I want this third one to be live, literally all I would have to do here is just say that I'd like to set this one as a primary. So set that as a primary, and then you do have to publish after that. So, and it says you must publish for this to go into effect. And if I go into here, see, this is the live one. So this allows you to kind of do your own testing day over day, or hour over hour, week over week, whatever you want to do, and just kind of organize all of your variations of one lightbox within just one compartment of variations. And like I said, the cool thing about this is they're all going to share the same conditions, and your account's going to be a lot more organized. But the really cool feature about this also is that now you can A/B test them, and you can do a true A/B test, which is just one versus the other, with all other variables remaining equal. Just basically the copy, or the lightbox itself, that's the only variable that you're going to be changing in A/B testing. So in order to do that, it's really simple. We have this really cool new wizard here. So you just click here on A/B testing, and then you want to go to A/B tests, and in A/B tests you just do start a new A/B test. And then you want to name it, so I'm just going to say Farfaria free sign up. And next step. Okay, now it'll say which light boxes do you want to test. So the cool thing here is it's only going to allow you to test light boxes that have different variations, because you really want to, you're only testing one light box with several variations, and you can do variation 1 versus variation 2, variation 1 versus variation 3, original versus variation 1, whatever you want, but you can only do two, you only test 2 variations at a time. So in this case I only have one light box that has several variations, so it's basically defaulting to this Farfaria newsletter v1. But if you had several light boxes with different variations, this list would be a lot longer. So I just select that, go to the next step, and see it tells you how far you are along in the wizard process right up there. So this is where you basically say, what do you want the test to be? So I say, okay, let's say I want to test the original light box. Let's say I really want to have a good test of that one variation that I had running before, which is variation 3 with a white background. So I'm going to select that one. We go to the next step. So this will be the original versus variation 3. So in total there are actually 4 variations. There's the original and then the 3 variations that you created. So I'm doing the original versus variation 3 here. And then this is just an impression target. It defaults to 500, but I would say doing, at the very least, I'd say do 2,000. I'm just going to say for now, and this all depends on, of course, how much traffic you're getting on your website, so use your best judgment here. I'm just going to say 5,000 in this case. And then I'm going to, how long do I want to run it? So I could run it over the next 30 days. For these, it's important to know that if you reach your impression goal before the days are up, it's going to stop, and same thing vice versa. So if you don't reach your impression goal, but you reach your time goal, it'll also stop. So in this case, let's just say I want to run it for a week. And so if I get 5,000 impressions before the week's up, it'll stop. Or if I don't get 5,000 impressions and 7 days passes, it'll still stop. So save new A/B test. That's it. And so it doesn't say it's live yet because you have to publish it. So publisher changes take effect. So you'd have to go to the, I mean, I'll do that in a second here, but well, let's just do this right now. So this is all set up. Now all I need to do is click publish here. And now if you go up to A/B testing here again, and you go to A/B test, you'll see that they're live. So there's a little check mark here that says that they're live. You have the option here to pause, finish it, or delete it. It's worth noting that you won't be able to delete any light boxes in the Lightbox interface if they're running in an A/B test. So if you try to delete this light box, it's going to say no, you can't delete it. See, this action is permanent. Are you sure? You cannot delete this light box because you're actively in an A/B test. So that's what you're going to get if you try to delete it. So go back to the A/B test. The really cool thing here is also you don't have to go for a very high level of how each one is doing. You'll see your conversion data right here, so you don't have to go into the analytics and do any comparison. You can just go into the A/B tests and either create a new A/B test or see how your current A/B tests are running. So I hope this video helped out, and if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at any time. Happy Lightbox making. Bye-bye.